Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to A Backwards Glance. I'm Sid Mickle, and it's time for a few more Southern-style stories from here in Chambers County. Today is a somber day, being the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 tragedy, and also a very somber day just from the terrible news in the last 24 hours. But today I wanted to go ahead and give you a story because I think these couple of stories have a little bit of an uplifting and I hope a very positive message. So let me start with the first story. Back when I was playing Little League, we, in our last year, my cousin Bob, I think Ronnie Hill and I were on the Red Sox. And it was our misfortune to play against the Giants. Yeah, the Giants. They lost one game that year. Not to us. The Giants had Randy Lindsay, Neil Reynolds, Richard Heath. They were my friends. Obviously, I had other players and other friends, but these were particularly close friends. And these guys just beat us like a drum. I mean, they had us beat when we walked out on the field most every night. Well, on a Thursday night, my friend Richard had hit his third home run of the year. So now come to the next Tuesday, we're playing a game and I can't remember who it was against, but I step up and got a good pitch and I just managed to push one down the right field line, just snuck it in around the foul pole for my first ever home run. And I can tell you, I was pretty excited. I was probably as excited as I'd ever been at that point in my entire life. And I jumped up and down, I celebrated, and I'm sure I was shouting and clapping my hands all the way around the bases. I touch home plate, go to the dugout, and everybody's in the dugout. We celebrate together, and your friends are happy for you, your teammates. And I'm sitting there on the end of the bench, and I'm just kind of wondering, where is Coach Paul? Our coach, Paul Howard, who just retired as the pastor of Lafayette Heights Baptist Church, is now my Sunday school teacher. And it's part of the real good part of my week when I see him on Sunday mornings. He was our coach. He had the task of keeping up with us, even though he wasn't that much removed from our age. So I look down and Coach Paul's at the end of the dugout with his clipboard, lineups and information, and where he sits and always talk to the on-deck hitter and occasionally to the batter. Well, finally, Coach Paul moves down and he sits down beside me. I'm ready for him to tell me what a great job I've done, how important it was for me to play well, and this home run meant a lot tonight. He's looking straight ahead. And you know what he said to me? He said, I don't ever want to see you running around, clapping and yelling, showing up the opposing pitcher like that. He already feels bad enough for giving up the home run, and it's just not necessary. And he got up and he walked away. Well, that little piece of advice stuck with me. I'm going to tell you, it really got to me because I had never considered the other team, the other pitcher. We were children. It was a Little League, and I acted kind of crazy. Well, as luck would have it, this first home run happened on Tuesday. We played on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Thursday night, I get another really good pitch right down the middle and happened to just make good contact, drove the ball straight away center field, hit the center field scoreboard, knocked a couple of numbers off the board. I remember that clearly. And you know what I did? I put my head down and I ran just about as hard as I could run around those bases. I hit home plate and I got myself in the dugout. There, I celebrated. We really celebrated again. And I was so happy about the home run and I was hopeful that I'd done it right. I glanced down toward Coach Paul and he just gives me a big smile and a little head shake like that. And it made me feel 10 feet tall. It was such positive, affirming affection from him and just was a perfect way to end that night. Now, of course, Richard went on to hit 5 home runs and just the Giants continued to kill everybody. So that was the moral. That was the end of the story. The moral is you can learn from good coaching. Now, the second little event that mattered an awful lot to me came in junior high school. I had played a couple games in the 6th grade. I was just a big kid and they had me come over and do some stuff. But in the 7th grade, I played for Coach Larry East. Coach East was a teacher, the assistant principal at Lafayette High School. And he was a great mentor to my age of kids and those above us. He was just one of those people you respected because he earned it every day. He was the straight arrow and you just didn't cross him. Well, one day he got on to me and a couple other kids because we just weren't doing things very well. Maybe we weren't hustling. Maybe we were just not paying attention. And he got on us hard. Well, I come back the next day and these 2 other kids don't show up. Coach East basically went around the little circle up that we had gathered and asked if he had gotten on to people. People saying no. And he gets to me and I say, yes, sir. And he stops, he says, I'm going to get on to you. And he points to everyone else, all of you, when you don't do what I ask you to do. My job is to teach you. You need to follow my instructions. But just remember, when I get on you, I'm trying to help you. I love all of you. Don't be upset with it. Just listen to me. That stuck very deeply inside of me too. It was a bit of affirmation. Take a little bit of heat, come back, and keep going. So the first ball game we played as junior high schoolers in the 7th grade was against a team from Asheville. I remember it like it was yesterday. We unloaded, we warmed up, and I was on the sidelines. I did not start. I was convinced I was one of the best players on the team. I'm on the sideline. And in my young mind, I am crushed, disappointed, frustrated, and as I usually was, angry. That was one of my trademarks, being angry about most everything. Well, as things turned out, the opposing team quarterback was very good. He rushes for 10 yards, first down, 10 yards, first down, 10 yards, first down, 3 plays in a row. They're 30 yards down the field. Coach East comes over and he grabs me by the jersey and the shoulder pads. He said, get in there and knock the quarterback down. That's all he said, and kind of pushes me out on the field. Well, again, as fate would have it, on the next play, I sacked the quarterback for a 10-yard loss. They run the same play. I do the same thing, sack him for a 10-yard loss. Third play, he tries to roll out. I sack him for probably a 15-yard loss. It's just how it worked out. But what happened to me after those events was the most positive thing, because I went from being invisible to being someone people knew, adults, classmates, friends at school. And it's not just based on the sports activity. It's based on the fact that when young people experience that kind of success and that kind of positive, which sports, as you're at that age, offer up a lot of opportunities to do, it's really empowering, and it really can lift a kid up. And that's why we are all so focused and so happy to go out and do the things that we do for our school. I don't think I mentioned that I'm wearing this shirt and this cap because we have a YouTube broadcasting team. We stream local high school, my alma mater, Chambers Academy's football games. And tonight we're doing a coaches show. And that event, or those events, are so important to me because they get me close to the kids. They get me back in that mindset of seeing kids as they grow and develop. And I can tell you, every week you see big changes. From year to year, you see dramatic changes. You see kids who are really not very interested in paying attention and getting after it, to being the next kid in line to be real serious, play hard, listen, do well. And it's very positive because I played on the first 2 teams there. I played with a great coach, Coach Jerry Pugh, who took our small group, our senior year, into our first ever state playoff round. Now, we got waxed by Hooper, but that's a different story altogether, and you'll probably hear it later on. There were no classifications, just 1 through 8, and we happened to wind up number 7. But one of the things that happened this week, we went out and we covered, as Chambers Academy Sports Live, a JV game. One of the best games I've ever seen. It's just a great outlet for these kids to play in the middle of the week. We saw the Pee Wee game, then we broadcast the JV game. I drove up expecting 15 cars, not a lot of people. It's Tuesday, it's a JV game. The place was jammed. The game was outstanding. The concession stand is roaring and people are into it. From the cheerleaders, the Rebelettes, the fans, the kids playing a separate ball game in the end zone, the little kids on their own, everybody is into it. Now, it's not just the idea of football alone, because I get the same sensation from football, basketball, baseball, and the ladies volleyball team. And that leads me to another story, something that was important and kind of focused me on why I had this group of stories set up for today. My friend David Howard is the director. He runs our channel along with Chester Carter, my great friend, and we do the broadcasting. So Dave and I are taking the equipment out to his truck that night, and we're talking about how the girls volleyball team is playing so much better. They're not racking up the wins, but they are just that close. And he talked about the emotional change, the fire in them, the desire, the growth emotionally and competitively. And I told him the story about the Asheville game. And he looked at me and he said, "It changed your life, didn't you?" And I go, "Yeah, it changed my life. It really did, even as a small kid. I was no longer irrelevant and invisible as a kid in high school. I was a little quiet, I was a little shy, and I was always in a bad mood, it seemed like. I was always angry about something when I was younger. I don't really know why, but it was just the way it was. That night opened up avenues for me to see the world differently and to be seen differently. And David talked about the young ladies on the team that he is an assistant coach, and he sees the change in them. What those things mean are growth, their development, and their affirmation for these beautiful kids and these wonderful athletes. And it's our jobs to go out and support them and always be positive and always try to find the good things in everything they're doing. Now, we're very fortunate at the moment. We have a great winning tradition, especially in football. We're going for our third state title in a row. You don't see that very often. There have been really down times, and there probably will be some down times in our future. Those are the rhythm, those are the waves of life. But the things that are important, the lessons, the discipline, the character building, and that uplifting of young people never changes. It actually just develops in a different way, whether you're a big winner, mediocre, or a big loser. The lessons are all there. We have to just keep ourselves focused on how to manage our emotions and our support of all these young people. So I am really looking forward to hearing you guys' comments. As you can see from our storytelling and our production and how we do this, it's not polished. I don't have a script. I just sit here and talk to you. I hope it makes sense. And I hope some of the things that we talk about occasionally matter to you. I'm always very thankful, even for my friends who are on the Giants. Yeah, the Giants that beat us like a drum, because they're some of my best friends in the world and have been all my life. We still communicate to this day. We are a very close group. And I have to think some of our affection and some of our relationships were built all the way back, maybe in kindergarten, maybe in Little League, maybe on the football field, baseball field. Those things matter to young people. And like I said, it doesn't have to just be sports related. It can be a million other things, from the classroom, from club activities, from just being a good, well-disciplined, happy kid. Look for those opportunities and confirm them every time you can. I hope this set of stories has been pleasant enough and maybe a little distracting on this tough day. They're always uplifting and really a kind of a good tonic for me to think about. And yeah, I think about them all the time. So until we get together again sometime next week, take care of yourself. Maybe hug your family a little tighter. Maybe give some of your friends a little hug today. They might need it too. We'll see you again in a week. Take care. Bye-bye.